Good evening. I hope we are back with you all. I'm very sorry about that. We had a momentary lapse, didn't we? I'm going to be honest with you what's going on here. We had a couple of techie issues with our box. We have a little box that we hit buttons on and it makes it change between the cameras yesterday. And the tech guys come in and I think they've loosened one of the wires a little because our little box literally had a little shaky kind of moment and then cut us off, I believe. So I'm very sorry about that. But we've pushed all the wires back in nice and tightly and hopefully we will be back with you all okay for the rest of the evening. But we'll have a little go and see how we get on. Just as Pete mentioned the W word, it all went terribly wrong, didn't
Wobbly.
it? What's the point in me saying the W word and then you giving us the word? Honestly, you think you'd learn from the first time it went terribly wrong. But oh, no. In he comes again with the W word. Honestly. This is what it's like around here. It's no wonder the place is chaos. So, okay, back to you all now, hopefully. Now, I didn't get to say good evening to you all. So if you are now joining us once again, please do once again let us know that you can hear us and you can see us and that all is okay. And I will say a few hellos just quickly. So good evening, Emma. Good evening, Kim. Good evening, Francoise. Good evening, Samantha. Good evening, Deborah. Good evening, Joyce. It is lovely to have you back with us. So sorry once again about our momentary blip. Now, we've already been over. We know he's over there, don't we? And you've tuned in to see new Woodwear goodness, not listen to us waffle endlessly. So with no further ado, shall we introduce you to our brand new collection? There is a chuckle coming from the corner.
I notice he's not switching the camera. He's not taking that risk to come to me.
For what reason?
I don't blame you.
Because of your wobbles.
Goes again and wobbles.
No. We're not. We're just going to pretend he's not here tonight. That's it. That's the moment done. Pete's not in the building. We're not giving in to the curse of Peter and his wobbles at the end there. So what do we need to know? We need to know that the collection we're looking at from Woodwear will be launching exclusively on Hobby Maker on Monday. And those shows will be at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. with, of course, the very super duper amazingly talented Francoise Reed. Now, she has outdone herself, I feel. I always am very proud of what she creates and what she brings to us. And this collection is no different. It is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of an addition. I'm getting it, I promise. I'm not just waffling forever. It's kind of an addition to her previous collections in a sense, but in the same way it's completely standalone. It's very pretty, it's a bit grungy, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm going to attempt to pronounce this, and I'll probably get it wrong, but it kind of adds on to her
Monjardin.
Well, I was nowhere near that. I was more Marge Simpson than
Bless
go again.
Oh, goodness me. Monjardin. But Francoise could correct me.
It was closer than the Marge Simpson-esqueness I had got going on. Yeah. So we're doing good. And sorry to anybody who can pronounce French. It is certainly not my strong point. I did German at school and I did that badly. So French is never going to work, was it? Okay, let's show you the collection. Now we know it's Woodwear. We know there's going to be stamps. So let's introduce you to the first 8 stamps. But there is more to this than just stamps, I promise you. I'm going to give them a little flick. I'm going to start off with my faves. Look at this imagery. Isn't that spectacular? This is just the first one in the collection of 8 stamps we're going to be looking at this evening. We're also going to have a little bit of a play with these, but don't forget once again, if you are just joining us, if you're just coming back, these are exclusive to Hobby Maker for the launch, and they will be launching on Monday at... Lost my card. It's all going terribly wrong this evening. They'll be launching Monday at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Hobby Maker. And then, of course, they will become available to our stockists after that. So this is our very first one. You can see it is a 1 stamp. So 1 stamp is going to do this for you. It is called the floral envelope for very good reason, because of course in our cheeky little envelope is beautiful floral bouquets. You will also see those kind of cascading leaves, and also pay attention to the details in the background, because Francoise has done her magic once again. Not only do these components come through in the backgrounds to the stamps, you're also going to find that there is like worker stamp sets that are going to match in beautifully with them. Now, I often go on about the fact I'm not a colourist, and I'm going to highlight that with this stamp because it's going to kind of become a bit repetitive for you this evening. But I feel that even if I'm not very good at colouring, I could stamp this and layer this just as we have done here for our sample board and send that as a black and white image, and it looks spectacular. You can also quite nicely with a lot of these stamps build them up around to make larger backing sheets, and we might have a look at something along them lines later on if we get a chance. The next stamp that we're going to have a little look into is this beautiful one. Now this one is of course I'm going to attempt Marguerite stamp. Anywhere near right? We're going to go over that?
We're doing good
that
tonight.
was good. Well, I don't know if we're doing good. But this one is a beautiful stamp. Again, beautiful blossoming flowers towards the bottom of it. Towards the top, you've got that tag, you've got some ruler measurements or rule measurements, you've got the notepads being used in the background to this one as well, and then you've got the key element hanging down. And then across the bottom, quite a few little front postmarks and bits, and these again are going to come in throughout the collection. You're going to notice them sneaking in, and this is one thing I absolutely love with Francois stamps, how you could turn this into a notebook, you could turn this into a proper journal, you could turn this into a theme that runs throughout your memory albums, and it's all going to work. Or, and I will show you lots of samples soon as well, you could of course put them into a little gift set and gift them, or give them as colouring in projects if you wanted to. There's lots you can do with these. Then moving on, we have got our poppy cup. Now this is the first one in a cup design, and it's absolutely beautiful. These of course are our beautiful poppies, and again you're going to notice that same elements coming through in the background, but we've got our beautiful poppies within their cup. Now there is going to be another design I'm going to share with you in a cup, and it is very easy, and you're going to see this again when we get to looking at samples soon, to actually change the cups around and put different flowers coming from in that cup design, because you can see you could quite easily trim that out. That might mean that you want to build this up and layer it, or it might mean you want to swap out what's actually nestled within that cup completely. Now our next design is this one, which is the teacup blooms, and this one again is spectacular. Another cup design, but this time with chrysanthemum in it, and again around here you're going to find lots of different wording, little butterflies coming in and different elements. Again we go back to kind of the rule being used down one side, and a few of Francois's very famous dots being dotted around the design. Again, they're going to help you beautifully with your shading and colouring if that's something you need a little bit of assistance with, and help fill out those background designs. Then we move forward, and I'm going to bring this one in at this stage because I think this is really important you see it now, because I've kind of said that this component matches and it's important you see it. This is the text and numbers set, and this to me is your kind of worker stamp, so the bits that you're going to see is all infilling around these images with, because they start off as A6 stamps, but if you want to extend these out, if you want to build them out into bigger pages, or you actually want to bring them in and you want to join a couple of images together perhaps, they can be the elements that are going to help infill between them. Or maybe you want to carry this on into the inside of your card, or you want to again continue that theme throughout a journal or throughout an album. And this one you can see you've got kind of your numbered ruled page, you've got a little bit of grid work, you've got kind of a ledger element going on. We've then got our key, we've got a little bubble that says numbers on it, and then we've kind of got this floral coggy-esque panel that again can very easily be kind of put around frames and into edges and bits, and again infill around the bases. And what I love with this one is it has a flat edge on one side, but this kind of shaped, very forgiving edge running across the top of it. So if you do wish to bring it in and kind of butt it up against the bottom of the teacup, for instance, it can be a shelf that the teacup sits on, or it can be a very nice blurred edge that sort of can go round it instead against the saucer if you prefer. Then we move on. Again, we spoke about different elements coming through in this collection. So let's have a look at the faux stationery set. Now the faux stationery set, we have got like little pieces of tape going on in this one. We have got the word fragile, we've got some numbers, we've got our little number blocks, we've got our little number circles, we've got our London W1 number 6079 plate. We've got another little number plate here. We've got our bulldog clip. This is a really cool one because again, we can cut that and we can layer that a couple of times and build that up. We've got airmail and we've got part of the on. Sounds like a bottle of water to me. Was that anywhere near, do we reckon?
By air, I believe it is.
Of course it is, Peter.
We had little French lessons at the weekend, didn't we?
We did. We got to spend lots of time with Francois. We should have double checked though that is by air. We should have done that.
That was a guess.
She's in the comments. She's in the room. Come on, help us out. Tell us if we're on the right path. Then the next one we're looking at is wire mesh. Now, I don't know about this one in the sense of it isn't obviously designed to go with our lovely bee set, but it would make a lovely honeycomb to go behind our new Jamie Rodgers Crafts bee set as well. We didn't plan it, but it works really nicely together. So maybe you want to use it as wire, maybe you want to go kind of industrial, maybe you want to go slightly masculine, or of course, maybe you want to go very bee-y and go a bit more yellow and a bit more honeycomby. And then our last stamp within this collection is the fancy butterflies. Now, I do predict this one to be very, very popular indeed, because as you can see, we've gone very, very arty with our designs. Butterflies are always very, very popular and kind of, or Francois say we, it's the royal we, taking credit. We've kind of gone with the idea of having these silhouette butterflies, but of course with this beautiful kind of inlay work running through it. So it's going to shine through the colour of the card underneath it. So as you can see, Francois has left little bubble marks on here. We've got little numbers coming into it. In this pattern, you can see some flowers coming through, a postmark, some writing, and even the top there of one of the feathers that, of course, matches into the other designs. So these butterflies really do work in conjunction with the rest of the collection, as you would expect. As you can see, there are 4 butterflies. There is a splat, there is a little array of numbers, and there is the word art in a couple of different sizes as well. You've also got little marks, and these little marks can be really fun to, again, cover up splodges or add in some splodges in multiple colours around your designs. So that is your overview of your 8 stamps. Now I'm going to try and lay these out so you can see them on the boards, because I think that's the most important part really. It's lovely to see them in the packets, but it is really actually when we see them stamped out that we get to see just how beautiful these designs are, aren't they? So I'm going to try and bring them in a few at a time for you. There's the first 3 to give you a glimpse. Then we're going to move on and we'll bring these ones in as well. And then we're going to finish this collection off with the final 2 sets, the kind of worker elements of these. Now, do you already have favourites? What are the comments showing, Pete? Is the world falling in love with this collection as much as we did when we see it?
Yes, definitely so.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It really is stunning. And I have some even better news to tell you. That's not all of it. There is more. And we're delightful that there is more. So let's go on to some dies, shall we? So Francoise has been working her magic with a couple of die sets. Now the first die set I'm going to bring in for you is the Tattered Layers craft die. There is 11 elements within this die set, and it's brilliant. It genuinely is amazing, because if I bring in the outside die for you, this is the largest, and you can see it's perfect for your A6 stamps. It literally corresponds perfectly to make the layers for your stamps to go onto. We love that in its own right. But on top of that, we then have our kind of tatty edges. So let's bring in a couple of these. So we've got that element, we've got this element. Now straight away on my board I've created, I'm going to show you that I've just stacked them, because I've just built them up in blacks and whites as we do. But of course we don't have to do that. We can bring this element in, we can cut out the middle there to that ear perfect layer for our stamp, and then suddenly we don't have a perfect layer, we have a perfect frame to put over the top of everything we're working with. But maybe you don't want it to have a tatty insert. Maybe instead you'd prefer to have it a nice rounded corner, slightly smaller, slightly wider frame. Or perhaps you would prefer for that to have a perfectly straight edge to match the edge that's already coming with it. All sized perfectly to work together. Then on top of that, we still have a couple more options. Now these ones are more designed for you to add layers on, but again, you could use them as frames on the inside if you prefer. But whether we're building them up on top, using them to be our sentiment pieces, or coordinating them in throughout the collection, you will see that in this 11 die set, you've got lots of different frame components. But it doesn't, it doesn't end there. Excuse me, sorry. It doesn't end there. It also has with it 4 of the cutest little corners I think I've ever seen. Now these of course make brilliant little photo corners. So again, these can be used for our cards, they can be used on our little gift tags, they can of course hold photos in place in an album, they can of course be used in a journal. When we actually use them, this is what they look like. How dinky and cute are they? They're adorable! And of course, they could be used to hold your layers in place if you want to, so it works perfectly throughout the set. There is also, because, and we often discuss this whenever we're talking dies, because there's room, Francoise has added in this little oval panel as well. And this, I'm sure you can see already, is going to coordinate with some of the elements that you might want to stamp onto it and cut out and place around your project. So lots and lots and lots of scope with that one, and a true essential if you are a Francoise fan, if you are an A6 fan, if you like Woodwear and you like working with that size stamp, you're going to really benefit through having that die set in your collection. Now that die set, recommended retail price is £14.99. Now don't forget you're getting 11 dies in that set for your pennies, so there's a lot of scope there to get creative with that one. Then, it doesn't end there, there is another die, another very, very, very yummy die. This one is the Fragment Craft die. I am so excited to see this die be released because it is one that you're going to have a lot of fun with. It's all in one panel. It cuts out as you see it. All of these bits are holes within it, as you can see on the board there. Now, as somebody who likes kind of shabby chicy looks, but isn't always great at creating them, this is the perfect die for me because it's measured, it's perfect, but yet it's shabby chic, yet it's creative. Now this might mean that you want to cut these out, you want to then stamp on them, or you want to add to them, or it might be that you go for a patterned background paper like I was earlier today and cut them out from your Scrap Boys papers, or it could be that you've made a really lovely background with enchanted sprinkles and you want to cut that out and use that as a layer instead. Endless options going across, of course, multiple collections. But again, you're going to find it fits very nicely with your A6 stamps. You will even see, I think you can just about see it, I've stamped one and I've cut it out with this plate and it's got a little bit of the ink transferred onto it. Not a problem. That's me being impatient and not waiting for my ink to dry. But it does show you how perfectly these are going to match in with every single one of these background stamps. And of course, not just from this collection, but all of the collections Francois has bought to us previously. That die, once again, is £14.99 as its recommended price. Then we move on. There is more. We do not stop there. We know that we love a stencil, and we know that Francois brings us beautiful stencils. So this collection has 2 stencils within it. Now the recommended retail price for each of these individually is £5.49. And as always, designed brilliantly to bring you 3 different designs per stencil in this case, that of course can be moved along, married up and built into much bigger backgrounds if you want them to be. Or of course you can use them as they are. Now these stencils are cut from our Creative Expressions thicker mylar, so when we come to use them we're going to get real depth to them and we're going to get real beauty. It also means that we can put them through our machines and emboss them and have real depth to the pieces that we emboss as well. So these are a bit of a game changer. They're a fun stencil to have in your collection. Then the last item, the very last item in this collection, and this is a bit exciting, the Watercolor Backgrounds paper pad. Now this adds on to, of course, quite a collection now of Woodwear paper pads. And what I love with these is Francois always kinds to keep them tone on tony, if you like, if that makes any sense. I'm just at the stage of the day now, I'm inventing words. But they do all kind of correspond and they do work together. They kind of, she sticks within a palette that I find really interchanges beautifully. And then as we go through them, you will notice that not only has she done single-sided, these are double-sided. There are 6 designs and there are 4 sheets of each, 24 sheets in total. So the second we delve on into this, you can see that you've got beautiful backgrounds. Now, not all of the time, even if we like making inky, messy backgrounds, do we have the time to make them? I'm going to show them to you this way so you can see them sideways, see both at once. Not always do we have chance, time, or the products, the right colours even, to make beautiful inky backgrounds. So to actually have this done for us, to make it look like we have done this, to make it look like we've spent lots of time building up these backgrounds, waiting for layers to dry, blending different colours, misting different colours, to me is a real game changer, especially if we do want to be a bit quick and simple with what we're creating, or maybe we just don't like doing that, maybe we're not that confident. It simplifies it for each and every one of us. And if you do like being messy, if you do like your mixed media, if you do like adding to them, then of course these are uncoated pages. So we can still do all of those techniques, but leave this or start with this as our background, start with this as our colour palette, start with this as our inspiration, and then build up on top of it. So to me, that again is a great asset to have in my collection. So that gives you a little overview of the brand new floral stationery collection. 2 stencils, 1 paper pad, 2 different dies and 8 stamps build out this mega release that once again I feel Francoise has knocked out of the park, to be quite honest with you. I'm really pleased with it and I have a feeling you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it. Now I'd like to, if it's okay with you all, share lots of inspiration from our DT before we try and fit in at least a demo before we leave you in peace this evening. Now there is a couple of other bits of news I need to let you know about, because if you know us, the world never stops here at Creative Expressions. There are things going on every minute of every day. So tomorrow evening, I am going to be back here with you again. I know, 3 times in a week. I'm sorry. I apologise. It's overload. But tomorrow night, I'm going to be live with you again at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, and this has been adapting throughout the day. Some of you might have seen videos earlier today, if you're one of our stockists. I'm about to tell you a different story because it's changed minutes before we went live. Minutes before we went live. So, something I need to tell you about. Only a matter of a few hours ago, here at HQ, our brand new Scrap Boys paper pads arrived. Now, I know many of you have been waiting for these, haven't you? You've been following Scrap Boys since we launched them and we told you about them and we shared them with you. And you've been watching them and you've seen all of the amazing inspiration they've been sharing with 2 brand new collections. One is Lady in Japan. It is in the building. We have the pop-up pad. We have the 6x6, the 8x8 and the 12x12. And the other collection is the Shabby Pack 2, which comes in 12x12, 8x8 and the pop-up pad. Both collections are breathtakingly beautiful. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m, I'm going to take you through these in more details and I'm going to demo them for you. So no Gwen tomorrow, I'm afraid. We're letting Gwen have a little bit of a rest from the lives for a little while. I'd like to tell you why, but I'm not allowed to. All I'm going to tell you about that is that exciting things in the world of Gwen might be coming later on. But I'm not telling you any more than that. I can't. But that woman, she's a busy bee. So I'll try and drop you little hints as time goes on. But for the moment, we're going to give Gwen a little bit more time because she's got things she needs to work on. So, too much said already. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m, we're going to look at the Scrap Boys collections. Now, earlier today, we didn't even know about this. We were waiting for emails to come through as we were going live. We've decided to add a set of shows to our Hobby Maker schedule. Sunday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m, yours truly will be at Hobby Maker. One of the things that we are going to be featuring on them shows are them Scrap Boys paper pads. There's going to be other things. There's going to be special offers. It's going to be good. So you're going to have to join us on Sunday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Now, I would like to tell you more about that, but we haven't even confirmed yet what we're doing because these emails were literally pinging back and forth at about 5 to 7. But it looks like it's a go-ahead and it looks like you're going to be stuck with me 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Sunday. Francoise, I know you're watching. This is great, isn't it? I'm going to leave your samples for you in the green room so you've got them on Monday morning. Saves risking posting them to you. I'll text you later, but it's a good thing. So yeah, Sunday, we're going to have a little look at those pads in more detail and we'll do some demos with them on Hobby Maker. But tomorrow night, 7 p.m, we will of course demo them. We will look through them in detail and we will of course bring you some demos with them. Just to complete our 3rd night this week of demos and inspiration. Because why not, eh? We can do it. Let's enjoy it. So let's start off then by looking through some samples from our amazing DT with this collection. Now, whenever we do Woodwear, I always do it this way. It's a bit different. Instead of doing them by idea or by product, we're going to do it by DT member because I always feel they bring in so many components and it's so fun to see how they've used it all together. It's more interesting to actually show you what one person's done with a collection, and we'll do that for each of the members. So we'll start off with Christine. Now, Christine is, and I'd like to call her our Queen of A6, but I tend to refer to her as our Princess of A6 because I kind of keep that title for, of course, our lovely Francoise because she, to me, is the Queen of A6. But Christine is an incredible talent and we can see here she has bought in that floral envelope. She's embossed it in clear, maybe over black or maybe black. Either way, doesn't really matter. But we've got a lovely shimmer to it. and then she's done some blending and colouring in the background to really make that envelope pop. And this is really lovely actually, because I often say how I'm not good at colouring. You don't have to colour the item, as in colour the item fully, as in colour the item properly. Blend the backgrounds, make a beautiful backing to go behind it. Now, another one that Christine has done here is, of course, bringing in those beautiful flowers and adding them onto this one, adding on some texture paste. I'm going to go with a white shard that she's mixing some shade into. Obviously, the same colour inks that she's used throughout her background. Mix that into the white shard and put that through the stencils in just a couple of little patchy areas. Doesn't that look really lovely? This, of course, is from the Marguerite stamp. Then floral poppies. That poppy, that poppy was in a cup a minute ago, weren't it? But I'm going to bring that back for you so you can see what I mean by it was in a cup, just in case you're tuning in late. That is, of course, where the poppies have come from. But Christine is showing us they don't have to stay there. They can, of course, be poked in nicely into that fragment craft die. And on top of that, you'll also notice in the background, she's used the floral envelope stamp to stamp over that panel. So we're really showing how those pieces can be brought in and married up together to make a beautiful, stunning card. Then moving forward, we have the flowers in bloom, which of course is those beautiful chrysanthemums in a pot instead, or in a cup. Teacup blooms, sorry, is the name of that one. I've always tried to get the names right, it never happens. Then we move forward. And on this one, you can see how Christine has gone in and cut and layered. We've got postmarks being layered up on the top here. We've got flowers being laid up on top of the cup. Down the bottom here, we've got little numbers and buttons that are also found throughout this set of stamps, also being layered up. And on top of that, you can see the papers coming through in the background and our OptiGold from the Crafty Concoctions product range being used through one of the stencils to make the little strip that runs down the back of it. Again, if, like me, you're not brilliant at colouring, you don't have to colour these stamps at all. They can stay in one tone and they look rather lovely. Then moving forward to another one of Christine's incredible creations. This time we are using the panels from inside the Tattered Layers craft die set. We're bringing in those beautiful butterflies, this time being chose to stamp in green. And you can see that she's done some shading behind it with another tone of green. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you, I reckon what she's done is she's flipped the stamp over and stamped with the reverse to make the solid colour underneath the top colour. Now, Christine, if you're with us, am I on the right path? Is that what you have done to create that lovely green coming through from under that? You could, of course, if you prefer, stamp it, cut it out, make a stencil, and then place that down and colour over the top of it. But I think it's going to be stamping with the reverse of it in the light green and then putting the stamp on the right way around to stamp in the dark green. But we'll see what she says. Then another one. This again is bringing in that beautiful fragment craft die, and this time threading in our keys that come out with the Shabby Chic collection. Those keys are going to be on Francois' shows on Monday as well. Then another one using the lovely fragment craft die. This time you can see over the top of it that wire mesh stamp has been stamped to do a little bit of a takeaway. I think probably in water or maybe blue ink, one or the other, but I think water to kind of take it away from the blended background is my prediction. Again, down the middle here, we've got one of those stencils coming in with the OptiGold being used on the top of it or through it, and a little bit of the Atomics glitters being sprinkled in to make that look really lovely and yummy too. And then on the top there, we can see our butterfly and Let's Party. And the Let's Party is, of course, coming from the Celebration collection that come out in December. Or January. December, I feel. Just before Christmas, wasn't it? Yeah. Getting the nod. The silent one nodded.
The nervous nod.
The nervous silentness. Then over here, we've got these lovely little ink splotches that Christine has created. She's then stamped with the same colours over the top to make them slightly more intense. Stamped the butterflies going up in a little display, which works really, really nicely, doesn't it? And then added in the happy birthday. Then we go back to the poppies. Don't these look lovely with that lovely soft blue background, some blue being added over the cup there, and then those poppies being added in on top of them. Now those poppies have once again come into action here as well. Now the little paper clips are another one of the dies I believe is on the shows on Monday again. Is that one of the Woodwear dies that is on Monday's show? If not, it is one of the Woodwear dies.
It is, I believe. So I was reading Christine's answer.
Oh, good. You looked panicked when I said that. You looked absolutely petrified. And I'm thinking, I didn't partake in the show list for Monday, but I'm sure I see it on the show. On the top there, we have got our little paper clip coming in from the other set of stamps as well. Those worker bits. You've got me worried. What's Christine saying?
Oh, no. I was just picturing her step by step as to what she did with your green ink of the butterfly stamp.
What did she do?
She said, I stamped them in a light green ink, then watercoloured with chroma labbing, waited for it to dry, and then stamped them over the top in a dark.
Oh, that'd work as well. Brilliant. Thank you, Christine.
So I was in my head picturing her doing these little bits when you were talking about another.
Do you know what we could do with?
We
could do with a little video.
We could.
We could do with a little video on that. I'm good at it. We'll pick on Christine for that later. We will see. Okay, this one I wanted to talk about why I keep wafting it. This, of course, is the lovely poppies coming in and being built up in a little display. I love this because I think when we look at background stamps like this, sometimes we see them in one format and we think it's got to stay as it is. Christine really has blown the lid off of that idea, showing you how you can snip these out, use them as independent flowers, and I'm here for it. I think that is beautiful, and I love the way she's built that little clipboard, of course, using the layers which come to you in the Tattered Layers craft die set, and then the pages on top as well. I just think that's such a clever card, really, really clever. Then moving forward, we've got some of the fragment die being used in the background there, being built up on top of using the Tattered Layers, and then stamping the butterflies on top of that one. Then moving forward, we have got our postage stamp die from Woodwear. Now this one, if you haven't got this, it is on Monday's show. When I went into the warehouse, I thought they'd already moved the stock to the TV shelf for the shows on Monday. They haven't. I'm telling you a long-winded way of saying we haven't got many of them. So if that's one you've not seen before and you like the look of it, make sure you get that very, very quickly on Monday or track it down from a stockist already. It is one of the original Woodwear dies. It's been out a little while, so you'll be able to find it in many places. But if you are watching the shows Monday, you like the look of the postage marks or postage stamp background, don't linger long. Then we've got the poppies once again coming in, and this time going for a very lovely purple colour scheme. And I really like the grey colour scheme that's been used for the teacup and saucer. I thought that was really nice. You'll also see some of the stenciling coming through in the background. This is more of those kind of daisy head flowers. And then our last one, very similar in style to this card, same kind of idea, but again, this time different layout, more stamps being added into it, and those photo corners coming in to hold those down really lovely, give that illusion of kind of in-place elements. Now, as always, I will highlight that we do not ask for our DT to do this many samples. And when you actually see them all coming from one person, and we say to you, our DT get carried away, they get a bit kind of taken in with a collection and they want to play and play and play. This is what we mean. This is way more than we have asked for. And yet Christine has gone and delivered us an absolute massive collection of samples. All as you can see, and I've done it intentionally so you can see what we mean, all in the same footprint. They are all her A6 world, and I love it because it just shows how many ideas we can create from one size card if that's how you wish to create. It might not be. So let's move on and share with you some of Laura's, because Laura's all over the place when it comes to sizes, and it's great because it gives us a completely different take on what we've kind of been looking at from Christine's. So we're going to start off, of course, with this beautiful one. And this, of course, is the Marguerite one that's been stamped. And we have used the Tattered Layers craft die to make the panel that this is on. In the reverse there, Laura has used the fragmented craft die. Behind it, you can see some stenciling coming down one side. And over this side, you can see that lovely Part of Yon stamp being used and some of the numbers as well.
Oh, sorry, what was that? I missed
Part of Yon.
Part of Yon.
Am I anywhere near if we worked out?
That's very good.
Was it?
I think Laura's in the house.
I don't know if it was very good, Pete. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
That was almost Hercule Poirot level.
Was it? I'm not convinced.
Kim's still after her peak cam. I don't think she needs a peak cam.
I'm not convinced that would be a good idea either, but we could try it. He doesn't snore, which is good. I don't send him to sleep. I might send some to sleep, but I don't send Pete to sleep just yet. He's usually paying attention to some degree. So here again, we have got our lovely stamp being used. We can see there's that little hint of gilding flakes being added throughout to give us that little gold halo effect running throughout the design. You can see lots of the worker stamps being used in the background to this one as well, all around the edges. And you can even see some of our textured papers coming through in the very background, which looks really nicely. Changing things up completely, same stamp, different look. We can see that we have gone on, oh, I say we, Laura has gone off on a lovely mint green tangent with these, making them look like really vibrant daisies. To me, I'm not a floral person with knowledge. I'm just not. I love flowers, I adore flowers, but the education's lacking, as you could probably imagine. But I'm seeing 3 very different flowers coming through here. I've got daisies, I've got sunflowers, and then I'm kind of getting kind of chrysanthemum-esque looks, maybe.
Beautiful.
But they are, aren't they? And you wouldn't necessarily
go
that is all one stamp and that's all come from one design. And it just shows how varied we can be, even with just one stamp in our collection. If you do happen to go for the whole collection, how about doing something like this? I adore this. This is gorgeous, Laura. I absolutely love it. And it brings in lots of the layers throughout our tattered layers craft die. And we can see that Laura's kind of yo-yoed through them. She's added in some of those other elements from that die set that I believe will be available for you on Monday. She's also brought in some of our wordies and she's used the papers in the background, and it just works, doesn't it? Talking of just working, look at this beauty. This one again done by Laura, added in the stamped butterflies. We've of course got the fragment die set in the background. She's used the word art on there, and we've got the papers behind that as well. Then moving on, another completely different style of card. Beautiful paperwork going on here, and then adding in the stamps over the top of it. We've of course got our lovely corners coming into play to hold in our main panel. Our main panel once again is of course the Teacup Blooms stamp set, and then again some You're Amazing from the wordies that have been foiled, because of course they're printed on the right paper to be able to be foiled. And then tucked around the corners here we can see some of that stenciling coming in with the Optigolds once again. Then this is lovely. This one is the poppies in the cup once again, being used in the middle of the card. We've got the butterflies coming around the edges, and then what I really love with this is the way that the wire mesh stamp has been used and heat embossed in copper to make up that beautiful background to run behind this panel. I thought that was lovely. And then of course, remember this moment, very poignant stamp set or word set to be used. Then we go on to another one. Now I'm going to actually take these out of the way for this because I think that might look a little bit heavy with all of that behind it as well, because it's a very full-on beautiful card, but I think it might get slightly lost amongst all that whole array of colour. This again has been worked out and created on top of the fragment craft die, and you can see that Laura has done some amazing techniques with some heat embossing powder as well, adding the embossing powder around the edges and onto the design throughout to give that beautiful little silver flourish, which works beautifully, doesn't it? Behind that, you can see the papers being used as well, of course, from that pad. Another one here with a wire mesh and the poppies coming in from one side, being trimmed around beautifully and then added onto the edge of a card. And this again shows that we don't have to use all of it every time if we don't wish to. Another one using that postmark background. Postmark? Post stamp? I'm going to get the wrong name. It's not postmark, it's post stamp. Post stamp plate, maybe? I don't know.
Postage stamp, isn't it? That's Francoise's favourite die.
Is it? She said that in the comments today.
Yeah, she said she loves it.
I love this. It is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Whether you choose to tear it, leave it in one, add to it, the choice is yours. But it is stunning. And again, little stock update or warning for you, there's not many of those around. This time, of course, Laura has chose to use the envelope stamp, which is gold floral envelope on the top of it. These little bulldog clips and paper clips are again part of the die set that will also be available for you on that show. Then Laura has gone off onto an MDF tangent, and these are beautiful, aren't they? I'm going to bring in both of these because we're chatting MDF. We've got the lovely blue one using the floral envelope once again, and then we've got this one using the flower in bloom, teacup blooms. I've changed that name every time I've said about it today. I'm not doing well for that one. There is a block in my mind. But again, she has stamped that onto a piece of paper and then added that onto the MDF tag. Bringing in the keys and the lock element again from that other set of dies, which come out with a shabby chic collection that you will again see on Monday's shows. So that is a little glimpse at all of the wonderfulness that Laura has created with this collection. Big round of applause for Laura. We're very much in love with those. Big round of applause for not Francoise, that comes in a little while, for Christine for doing all of our A6 ones. Pete is now looking for the button on the little music box to do so.
Nervously pressing which one it should be.
Oh, I like that. We should be doing that more often.
I don't know if it comes across that well, but
we
that's
need to do that
supposed to be
more
clapping.
often.
Does that sound like clapping?
Let's have a little look at this one. This is from Siobhan. So this is Siobhan's Incredible Creations. And I have a feeling you're going to fall in love with these as well. Honestly, our DT are so talented. This time again, we are back to that beautiful Teacup Blooms stamp. That was where I was trying to get the blooms out. The blooms, I promise. Then if we move on to the next one, this one is, I'm giving up with the names now. Honestly, my head is all over the place today. The Marguerite stamp set, this one, isn't it? Have I got the right one? Yes, I have. So Marguerite being used onto this one and then matched in with some more of our decal edges from the jamierodgerscrafts collection that looks really lovely. Then we're going to move forward and we're going to have a little look at this one. This one, again, done by our lovely Siobhan. And she's done a very clever technique where she's spotlighted areas with little circles and then built them up. On top of that, she's used our stencil around the edges to make this beautiful border to match in with everything. Moving forward from there, same stamp as the previous one, very different, or previous two even. Very different effect coming in again. This time going for much more yellow flowers, adding in little buttons, doing real stitching, not even faux stitching around the edges, adding this little vellum panel on the bottom, stamping some sentiments on here from what came out with the Norman collection previously, and again adding in these little components of dies which are going to be on the sets on the shows on Monday or are already available. Then sticking with that circular theme, Siobhan's obviously had a bit of a moment with the circles. I like it, I'm here for it. She's added in a trio of circles, stamping the butterflies over the top of them. Working on a DL this time and adding in that kind of worker stamp towards the bottom and the top, and then adding in a few of the little postmarks and pieces around it. This one's beautiful. I say this, they're all beautiful, but this one's one that I really like. I love the way that Siobhan has embossed the panel down the side here using the stencil, and I also really like the colours that have been used on the main panel. And then to top it off on what might have been a plain edge, she's come in with that other worker stamp, that little grid stamp, and stamped that coming down the side of it, and it just pulls everything together, doesn't it? It's like a warm hug, that card. It's just kind of got everything in it, in all the right components, in all the right places. I really like that one. Then moving on, this is clever. So this one is the Tattered Layers die set, and you can see that she's built it up, but she's actually cut out and layered that middle piece back inside itself. So we've got sunken layers and raised layers between these two pieces, and I just thought that worked really nicely. Not something I had imagined anyone would do with this set, but it works really well, doesn't it? And it gives that kind of depth and that extra dimension without really having to do too much extra work. Just send it through with the dies. Job done. Beautiful. Then moving forward, we are back to the poppies in the cup again. I love that one. I said I've loved that a lot tonight, haven't I? But it's true. The collections and the examples are breathtaking. That one was, or is, Poppy Cup. That's the right one. So Poppy Cup, this time with a little photo corners being added to it, and again some stenciling being done over the top from one of the stencils in the brand new collection as well. This one again, very beautiful. Back to the poppies in the cup, but this time going blue with our colouring, adding in these little tabs, adding in some of the papers, adding in the wire mesh behind it, and then even adding in little embellishments, which just work, don't they? This eclectic kind of mix that runs throughout this collection really does mean you can add in your own embellishments, your own details, and they just work so beautifully within it. It's that kind of collective look, isn't it? Including this beautiful border at the bottom, which of course is one of my dies from the Shabby Chic collection. Then, another wow. There's a lot of wows, but this to me was a wow. This I loved. I love lots of them, but this is a love. So I like the colours of this one, and I also like the placement. So we've got the postage stamp coming into the edge there, we've got the decal edge, we've got the plain edge. Then we move up to the most important bit, the fragment craft die, being added onto the top here. And then you can see that Siobhan has done some inking with some stencils through here. She's done some stamping with some of the worker stamps, adding in little blotches and numbers and pieces around it. She's then come back in with those worker stamps and heat embossed in gold running around the edges. Then on the butterfly, she's built it up to give it this beautiful little lift. Can you see that if I tilt it? Little lift there, so there's a little bit of prominence, and then added in some faux quills to the middle of that to give it some extra dimension, and a little metal key at the top there. Then finished it off with Create Art. Isn't that spectacular? I would genuinely frame that and put that on the wall in my craft room, or in many places, but certainly in my craft room. It's inspirational, it's beautiful, and it's delicate. Then moving on, we've got the envelope coming back in. This, of course, is the floral envelope. This time she's gone for a lovely green background, and I have a feeling she's done some bleaching to get the white coming back into the flowers and into the feathers. Again, she's extended the design down with that lovely little scalloped edge from the Shabby Chic collection. Sticking with the same stamp, but very different idea. Again, heat embossed in gold. Little vellum wrap round with that same edge being used on it, and then layered on our scalloped and pierced rectangles. Love that. So fresh, so colourful, so bright. And I don't know if you're going to capture it, but the gold when it hits the light really does look rather impressive indeed. It just works, doesn't it? It's a really classy card. To me, that's a John Lewis card. And I don't offer that out too lightly, but it looks posh. Well, to me, it looks posh. Very lovely. Now, again, we talk about our DT getting carried away, don't we? So, Siobhan, done all of these amazing cards. Lots and lots of beautiful cards. Loads and loads of cards. Way more than we needed. Already beautiful. Tick the box, done the job. Did she stop there? Did she say that's enough? Oh, no, no, no. Let's bring in this beautiful creation, shall we? So here, we've got the papers being used on the top. We've got our first one of the stamps, as we can see, heat embossed in gold, watercolour painted in by the looks of things, maybe some enchanted sprinkles even. Around the edge, we can see the worker stamps coming in to their own. Oh, get back in there, year of undone yarn, haven't I? On the reverse, we can see little details to hold the ribbon in place as well. When we open this out, what do we have on the inside? We have a little note cut out with our decal edge rectangles, telling you that we've got a stationery gift set. Add colour if you wish to, with your favourite colouring medium. For the greetings card, choose a sentiment strip, peel off the backing of the adhesive tape and place into the bottom right hand corner. Select the coordinating envelope and it's ready to be posted or hand given. For the postcards, fill in the addresses and your messages and it's ready for a stamp and the post box. I love this because not only have we created a set that we can give around and give away and pass on that joy of creating, or giving handmade is what I normally say. We've also given the joy of being creative. Each one of these has tape on the reverse of them. On the front of them, we have a whole host of events, all from Woodwear stamps, with all different sentiments for all different reasons. We've got thank yous, we've got happy birthdays, we've got happy anniversaries, whole list of them going throughout. Then we have the cards. The cards are beautifully created and they're different as we run through them. We've got different stamps, different colour schemes, different looks. Now, as Siobhan has told us, there is a gap in the bottom of each of them that is perfect for you to just pick the sentiment you want to add onto it and place that on, and then it's ready for the envelope. The envelopes, as you can see, are also done to coordinate with a stamped butterfly being added to the fold of each one of them. Then the postcards that Siobhan's mentioned in her description. Here are our postcards. Now on the front, we have got our beautiful stamped images, and you can see these look stunning being stamped in brown on top of a nice cream cardstock. On the reverse, Siobhan has thought of everything. She has used the stamps from in our Shabby Chic collection to add on the details to give it the postcard look. Then to top this set off, in this pocket, we've got little luggage labels or gift tags that again have been perfectly created with all of the stamps from this collection using our tattered layers craft dies as the layers to create them with. When we flip these over, they're all left plain for you to be able to write on the reverse of them to make the perfect gift tag to coincide with the perfect card to be sent out or to be given. Isn't that incredible? Now when we go back to the actual folder, you'll see there are two pockets, one for the tags, one for the little notes. And then the fold down pieces, of course, are where all of that fits back into. So let's rebuild this set, ready for it to go back to Francoise. But isn't that incredible? Don't you just love this? I know I go on about these every time we get one to share with you, but I absolutely adore this idea that we can give the gift of giving handmade. Whether you wish to add colour to the elements, whether you wish to leave them plain, whether you wish to add on the sentiments that have come with it, whether again you wish to just leave them more as notelets, would be completely down to the recipient. But what an incredible gift to be able to give. And if you are making to sell, what a unique thing to be able to put on your stall and to be able to sell for. I would go as far as to say quite a premium, because you're not just selling a pre-packed, done creation, you're giving or selling the ability to be able to give out multiple postcards, multiple gift tags, multiple cards, and that unique ability for them to be able to personalise them for the event that they wish to be creating for. I just think that's amazing. I love that set. Absolutely incredible. So Peter, are you ready with your button? Because that deserves, just that alone, but all of it for Siobhan certainly deserves a round of applause. You like that, don't you?
Good, that,
a little cheeky style from Pete.
Yeah.
Now, I've only done a couple of bits. I haven't done a lot. I literally have only had one day to play with these and get creative. So I haven't done many at all, I'm afraid. But I am going to share with you a couple, and then we're going to do a bit of a demo as well. So this is one that I've done. I'm going to share this probably with you next Thursday, I think is my current plan for demoing it. But we'll try and demo that next week if I get a chance. Maybe this one as well. But of course, this time I've stamped on black, I've coloured it in, and I've just used some of the stamps to make up a bit of a background to it as well. With this one, the wire mesh stamp, I went off on a bit more of a sunflowery kind of bee-esqueness. So I've stamped that in kind of a yellowy colour, and then I've again added in my picture on the front there, added a little bow. You always know if it's me, if it's got a bow, to complete the look. With this one, I bought in our tattered layers. Fragment craft die. And I've actually stamped it once beneath, used the outside die to cut it out, and then I've done it again, and I've painted it, and I've cut it out, and I've layered it one on top of the other. So through here, you will see that the same image runs underneath that as what's on top of it, so that for each of the apertures the picture matches perfectly. You'll also notice that I've used the paper pad to go behind it. Now, the next one is stamped, of course, using the poppies in the cup, which isn't the right name. I've changed that again. I'm not going to look again. I've told you a million times. You know better than I do, I'm sure. But I've coloured this one in with alcohol markers. Then over the top of it, I've braided some clear texture paste to make a little bit of a texture to it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a wiggle with this one, because we're going to look at something similar. But this is clear texture paste, just clear ordinary texture paste. Of course, we bring that to you under Crafty Concoctions and the Jamie Rodgers Crafts brand, but just apply to a brayer, so it's got that little point of difference, and it will, of course, add a glossy or glazed finish to your project. If you're not very confident with colouring, this is a great distraction technique. Then this one, I've bought in our canvas dies. I've used the papers again from the paper pad. I've painted in the canvas, and it's very similar to what we're going to do in our first demo. And then I've built it up and added that into the centre of my card, just to give you a little glimpse. So they're just a few that I've done with this collection. I could spend days, if not weeks, if not years creating with these, because it is a collection that goes on and on for absolutely hours, and there is loads you can do with it. And I think you've probably seen that through what we've shared with the DT with you. The DT have loads of projects they're working on at any given time for all of the different releases and collections. And when you see they've gone to that far to town with it, you can see it's going to be a fun collection to play with. Now, while I'm getting my stuff out ready to do the first demo, is there any questions, comments, or bits that we need to know about, Pete?
No, there's a lot of love for all the different samples, all the amazing colouring that's gone on there and different work. Lovely Adam is in the audience this evening. Lovely Adam Humphreys.
Good evening, Adam.
Mischievous Adam.
Good
You
evening.
two together is not a good match.
Now, Adam, does this mean that you might be
Oh no.
with us for any of our shows that are coming up? We are with you at Hobby Maker. I'm here. I am there even. Sunday at 4 PM and 8 PM. And Francoise will be there Monday at 2 PM and 5 PM. Are you going to be there for any of them? Is this a little sneaky that you might be our presenter for one or two or all of those? if you're really, really, really unlucky.
Poor man.
Poor man. I shouldn't say that with Francois. He'd be very lucky to spend that
Oh, I meant with
Francois,
you.
but for me, maybe not so good. Okay, let's do a demo, shall we, while we wait for Adam to answer. So the card that we're going to create is this one here, and we're going to bring in lots of the different elements to play with. So let's have a look and see where I've put all of my bits and bobs. Are these the stamps I'm meant to be using? I don't know if I've brought in the stamps, Peter. Did I bring in the
Laura
stamps?
pinched them.
I think they might still be in the workroom, because I don't think they're mine. I doubt I've put them back in their packets.
Does Debbie need to go running?
Go on, Debbie. But don't worry about it. I'll open another one. We don't want to wait that long.
You saying Debbie's slow?
Well, Debbie could go get the next stamp if you'd like. I'll open a floral envelope, and if you want to go get the rest of them while I'm playing with this one, that wouldn't hurt, would it? Thank you. What do you mean, Debbie's slow? It's Annika that goes running anyway.
Is it?
Not Debbie.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Go on.
You
Be
said
gone
that
with
didn't
you.
sound right.
Be gone with you. So, okay, our stamp is off the sheet, and we're going to bring in a stamp press to work with, of course. I love a stamp press because I'm not the most confident stamper, and this just means that even if I get it wrong, I can reapply pressure and put it back into one place. But that's a me issue, not an everybody issue. I know lots of you are very, very confident at your stamping, much better than I am. But I do it because I love it. I do it because I enjoy it. So we're going to take that, we're going to check that we're somewhere in the right area, which we appear to be, and we're going to bring in an ink pad. And for this card, I am going to go with a Memento ink pad, because that's the one I've got on my desk. And we're going to go for the black Memento. We are going to be colouring with alcohol markers, so you could, of course, use one of my inks as well, if you've got them to hand. But we'll go with this one to begin with. This might actually look really lovely now. Metallic inks, they're also alcohol friendly. So that could be a lovely look if you'd prefer to stamp with those. But we'll go in and we'll give that a good push down. Now, being one giant stamp is great because it means we don't have to reposition anything. We don't have to work out where to be. Everything will be done for us in one beautiful impression. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Doesn't that look beautiful? I love the way that Francois designs the stamps because it's all of these details that are coming through that make it look like I'm really clever, I'm really talented, I've done all of this building up and creating, and I haven't. I've just had to stamp one stamp and all of that work is done for us. I think it's just beautiful how simple and easy that is to create the look or the illusion that we've done lots of work to make a beautiful image. Now, with an alcohol marker, you don't want to watch me colour for hours, do you? So all I'm going to do is start adding in a little bit of colour to my envelope. Now, of course, if you are a more competent colourist than I am, you might wish to blend and colour and paint and do all of those amazing techniques that I happen to guess that Francois will be bringing you on Monday. I have a feeling, and again, I'm confessing more than I should, because I don't really know, because I wasn't there and Pete's left the room, so I can't even pick on him. But I have a feeling that Francois is bringing you the Crafty Concoctions Chroma Lab inks. And I also have a feeling that that means she'll be doing some watercolour painting with them. Francois, if you're still with us, you could let us know if I'm on the right track. But I'm pretty sure you've got them on Monday. So we'll just add some colour over the top of this. Again, not being particular, not worrying too much, just popping some colour into a few areas, seeing what we can create. And then we'll hook out a bit of that green, shall we, for the flowers and the stems. So we'll go in with just a green marker and add some bits in. I'm glad you've returned, Peter. Am I right thinking that Francoise has got Chroma Lab inks on Monday?
She has indeed.
Oh, I predict some painting goodness then.
Good
if you are watching,
those, don't they?
I've had the pleasure of watching Francoise at a couple of recent demo days, including the one that we did last weekend at Gwen's, and actually getting to see her paint with those inks is breathtaking. She makes it look so easy, which it is. It genuinely is. They're water-based inks, but you'll fall in love with them. If you've not seen them before, or you've not seen Francoise paint with them before, be prepared to ooh and ah about those because they are incredible. They're also a great mixative and additional item to add into texture paste and different bits and bobs like that too, which is something you've seen me do with them 1,000 times, I'm sure. So I'm not going to colour in all of this because it's going to get really boring watching me, but I would add in colour to the areas that I wanted, hook out the pieces I want to have. You might not want to do all of it. You might just want to pick out a few pieces. It doesn't always have to be fully coloured. It can just be spotlight techniques in different places. But here's one that I've had coloured already. So we're going to skip on to this one and have a look at that. And we'll come back to our stamp press a little later on. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not confident in my colouring. I'm not convinced I do it brilliantly. So I'm always looking for ways to detract the eye and give it a slightly different look. Because to me, that's how I'm happy and more confident in what I've been doing. Practice makes perfect, but while I'm practicing, I'm going to treat it with a little bit of distraction where possible. So we're going to bring in our micro granite clear shard texture paste. Now I know you will have seen me talk about this before, I'm sure. This is our clear texture paste that has that beautiful clear shard in it. So it's kind of like a grain of sand, but completely transparent. And all we're going to do is smooth it out over the top of the image. And what you'll find texture paste does, and this is the same with the clear, so you can go for the completely clear, or you could go with the one with a white shard, where that clear shard is not clear, it's white. But if you add this over the top, you will find that it kind of glosses the picture, glazes the picture, brings the colours together, and it just distracts the eye. But the shard one not only does that, it also gives you the most beautiful texture. So you can do this with a brayer if you prefer, but I just kind of treat this a bit like butter in bread. Did Adam reply to us?
No.
Maybe he just popped in and did a runner quickly.
That's it.
We don't blame him if he did. He's probably like getting ready for about 8 different things himself today. I think it's Sundays. He's normally on air, actually. Oh, I'm thinking it's Sunday. Oh, I think it is Sundays on air, isn't it? Thursdays and Sundays.
Every other Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I reckon we might get him on Sunday. Okay. So now that's gone on, we'll see that that's relatively clear, but slightly cloudy, because whenever we use texture paste, even clear, it's a bit like glue. It often goes on quite cloudy, and then as it dries, it will go more transparent. So I, of course, have one here I've done earlier. So let's give you a little glimpse at this one. And I'm going to try and move it slowly so that the light hits it in all the right areas for you. So you can see that glaze and that texture come through, because this really will change up what we've created and how it's going to look for you. And again, it might not be a technique you wish to do, but it will distract the eyes ever so slightly. Now with this one, before I did my glaze, I've sent it through and cut it out. But he didn't want to watch me do that. I sent it through and cut it out with the largest of the kind of tatty edge, tattered layers die sets. And I've blended some yellow ink around the edge of it to just tone it down slightly and make sure that it's not too vibrant, and to coordinate with the next pieces that we're going to be doing. For the next element that we're going to work on, let's see if I can find where I've hid them. I'm all 2s and 6s. It's always tricky to come in with all of the bits I need in one go. Oh, here they are. So we're going to use the stencils for the next bit, and we're going to bring in the same yellow ink that I used around the edge. So we're going to use the Wild Honey, and we're going to find a piece of white paper or card, and we're just going to make a strip to go behind what we're working on. So we're going to bring that in, and we're going to find ourselves a blending brush. And under here in my desk, let's see if that's clean. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of blue on that one. Let's see if we can find a cleaner looking one. I never mind a bit of colour. I gave one to Laura the other day and told her it would be clear, and I think that had green in it. So we'll try this one and see if that's any good. But we're going to go in with some Wild Honey. And we're going to pick this up and we're going to work over the top of this. Now, whenever you watch Gwen's stencil, she always brings up this great idea that actually less is more. And you can always go back and add to it. You can't take away from it. And you shouldn't really necessarily see what you're stenciling this to begin with. Because if it's kind of light, like here, if we move that away, it's still there. It's still very prominent. In this middle bit, I've got a little bit heavy-handed. Now, I don't mind that, but it is a little bit more heavy-handed. Now, let's see if we can match that back up. There we go. We're back on track. So we'll add some more coming down underneath this area. And then what I love with this stencil, and I mentioned this earlier, is how easy it is to build this up into a bigger background. So I'm just going to move this down and pick this up roughly there. It doesn't have to be exact, but we're going to pick it up there and we're going to continue it down. Now this might mean that you want to go side to side with it, or of course up or down, wherever it may be, but I just wanted a strip to go behind my card. So I'm going to add that into that area. And we'll see what we've created. Now that's quite nice already. We're going to bring in a small amount of colour. We don't want too much, but we're just going to blend this over the top so that we've not got that white harshness coming through from underneath. Now this, of course, is Distress ink in Wild Honey that I'm using, just in case anyone has any questions about the colour, but you could use any brand of ink, any style of ink that you wish to be working with. So we'll build that through. Again, we want it to make sure that it matches in slightly with the yellow that we've used around the edge of that panel. So we're trying to get it somewhere in that same area. We don't want one to sit out more prominent than the other one does, because it might look slightly odd. So we'll see how that comes together. Then we're going to go back to our stamping press, and we're going to bring in one of those little worker stamps that we absolutely adore from the new collection. So we'll take that out of the way. We'll dig this back out. We'll get rid of that stamp for the second. And Pete has, or Debbie has, maybe this evening, or possibly Annika, whoever Pete's identifying as this evening. We're going to go in and we're going to find that little stamp from in here, and we're going to bring back in that panel, and we're going to anchor that down.
Kim suggested that Adam's done a runner to Dale.
He might have. He might have thought, oh my goodness, let's get out of there. The last thing we need is the impending Jamie randomness. So we'll take this and we're going to bring in some vintage photo. And we're going to stamp this over the top. Now my vintage photo, I was thinking about this earlier. This ink pad must be 12 years old.
I had this thought because I spotted, I think, what you like written on the top of it. Which dated it.
Is it?
Maybe it's not that one.
Oh, I don't know. But it's got to be 12 years old.
They were used in workshops, weren't they?
They were used in workshops 12 years ago. Yeah. So I know that it's getting to the stage I really should, treat myself to a new ink pad or two. But while they're working, why bother? We're okay. We will keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide that up, moving down to the next piece, and then we're going to, having magnet issues. There we go. And then we're going to align that to where we want it to be. And we're just going to carry on extending down here. Remembering that we're going to be trimming this down. We just want a small section out of that panel. We don't need all of it. So we'll do one more. Mostly because I'm getting annoyed with my magnets that seem to be having more fun than a little. Leave that one there. Then we'll bring that over. Find where we want it to be. Give that a good push down. And I'm happy with that for my little strip. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? With our little numbers running through it and our little kind of giraffe-esque background to it. Very, very nice indeed. So that is how I've created this little strip here. Now if I give this one a little woof under the camera, you can see those details coming through. You can see that layering we've created. All by just playing with the stencils, adding on that panel, and then I've shadowed it with some brown card and some gold card to pull the design together. Now on top of this, or behind this even, we're going to bring in a panel. Now the panel has been created with our worker stamps, and this one's been done slightly more randomly than my one, but I don't mind it. I think it's kind of good fun. So this one's kind of been over stamped multiple times. I'm going to be honest with you, I always am. You know that my kits are done by my parents, and my dad did this for me today, and I think he got a little bit carried away. I think he was having a whale of a time playing with his stamps. When he asked how it was done, I said to him, you're just going to match up the stamps and you're going to make up a background. You're going to fill the white space. I come back a couple of minutes later, we've got all these random directions going on. I actually think it's quite good fun, so I quite like it. But it isn't, I tend to be a little bit more, I don't know if reserved's the right word. Tend to be a bit more symmetrical-ish. That isn't the right word either. Geometric? Oh, I don't know what I mean. Square? Precise? I don't know. But nevertheless, that's how I tend to roll. It's lovely to see somebody be so free and creative to just go bish, bash, bosh and go all over it and not really mind where it ends up. Because to be honest, we're not going to see a lot of it. It is just going to be the edges we see. So it can be quite fun and playful, and it doesn't matter. So onto our card, we want to match in with the layers that are coming up beneath it. So we're going to bring in some gold mirror card because they're going to be featured on the higher layers as we've seen through that little strip. We're going to bring in some of our lovely Foundations brown card. Now this one, if I remember right, is called Earth. I'm looking for a nod from the left and I'm getting the vague look, but I think it's called Earth by the top of my memory.
That's why we need peak cam.
Peak cam for the odd looks that appear. And then we're going to add on that lovely playful background panel.
Francoise is being cheeky.
What's she say?
She says you could get a re-inker for your pad.
I think I've got re-inkers, to be honest, and I could actually add it. It is getting a little bit, I think you can see that it has, can you see that okay? It has kind of gone through the middle a little, hasn't it? Can you see that better there? You know, in the grand scheme of ink pads.
It's doing good.
Well, they're not expensive, are they? I probably could just go, do you know what, and treat myself to a new one. It's vintage photo. It's one we use a million times, isn't it? It's a vintage pad for a vintage photo. So yeah, I need to stop being tight, really, don't I? Let's be honest about this. Let's call a spade a spade. So we're going to bring in some gold mirror, and we're going to add that onto the top, just sending that off to one side. We're going to go back to that lovely earth coloured card for our next layer, again being built up with 1mm foam pads or tape, and we're going to add that onto the middle of our gold. And then on the top of that, we are going to bring in our panel that we've created with that texture paste over the top. So it's kind of nerve-wracking doing this, knowing the designer's watching.
I know.
It's a lot more pressured, and Francoise is absolutely amazing. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. She would never criticise, and she knows that art and creativity are there to be explored and played with, however you may be, in whatever format that may take on. So this might not be her cup of tea, it might not be her style, but it wouldn't matter. She would just be supportive and happy to see her products being used and played with. But it is always a pressure from my standpoint to bring in and kind of play with something knowing that the designer's watching. I used to feel like that when I did Sue's shows, but thankfully where she lives in America, I think the time zones used to clash quite a lot. So we didn't tend to hear back that she had watched them, or I didn't tend to hear back that she had watched them. And I was quite relieved about that, I won't lie to you. So to know that Francoise is watching this evening, it's always slightly panicking, slightly nerve-wracking, to be honest. But, you know, she's a lovely, lovely lady, so I'm sure she won't mind whatever creative mess I create. Now, just a moment ago, there was a number 3 and a little bubble, and do you think I can see them? Which probably means I've knocked them on the floor. So I wonder if our Annika is going to burst into action and see if they can find them for us. In the meantime, I'm going to take this little postmark and we're going to just tuck this coming out from underneath one of our layers, because that's what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to go back into that grungy kind of floral-esque, messy layered kind of look and see if I could create a few more details. Now, each of those elements are of course on this little sheet. So if you can't find them, Pete, don't panic, because we can colour them in and cut them out. So don't hurry too much, but if you can see them, then brilliant. So all we're going to do with these is pick a nice soft shade, and we're just going to colour over the top. This again doesn't have to be perfect. We're just adding down some colour, and we're going to want to go all the way around the edges of it because we want to go in and trim out smaller pieces. We're then going to bring in that same kind of tonal yellow that we had running through the envelope on this project, and we're just going to add the colour over the top of that as well. And then we'll see if we can find some scissors and see if we can trim these out, just so we can finish this off. Now, while I'm trimming, I do, of course, want to give away the card that we make this evening. So we have a question for you. You can concentrate on this while I'm cutting. What flower instantly makes you think of your childhood? If you would like to pop your answers into the comments, Pete will pick one lucky winner to have this card sent to them, wherever they may be in the world. Of course, meaning that postage is included. So again, what flower instantly makes you think of your childhood? Now, while they're starting to think of this, Pete, let's give some examples. So what's your flower from your childhood?
Probably a couple. Roses, well, roses or marigolds. Only because my dad, you've seen his greenhouses, haven't you?
I certainly have. They are very impressive.
As a kid growing up, you know, the garden would be just immaculate. All the flower beds with the marigolds it'd be there in the morning and at night deadheading them. It was, yeah, probably those two, I'd say.
But you don't have a
Smell of a
flower that you're
rose.
going to from your childhood for, and not that there's anything wrong or right with your reasoning, but nothing that actually springs out to you for any reason.
No, not apart from, no, I suppose not.
No?
They're my flowers of choice, I think, of memories of a kid, them in the garden.
I'm just going to tuck my number 3 in there, and I'm just going to do it within that little kink in the frame so that you actually still see the NO, the number part of that, and it's not hidden away, which is kind of a fun way to make sure that you still see all of the elements. And I've added in the number 1 at the top and the little postage mark one at the bottom. And then, of course, layered this one on with a little bit of foam tape to kind of build that up and trying to create a little bit of dimension. Now, you could add some more pearls to that, maybe a ribbon to it if you wanted to. You could add in a few more details, but it gives you a little glimpse at what you could be creating and how that's going to look for you. And that texture base over the top really does create a bit more of a different finish to that, a bit more of a different dimension. Adding in those pieces, especially the bulldog clip from, of course, the stamp set, having those worker stamps and these postage mark stamps to come in and build that up. And then, of course, having the stencils to do the background. And, of course, not forgetting that beautiful edge die set to really tie that all together. Just works beautifully, doesn't it? It really does pull everything together in one easy, simple, beautiful way. Now, Pete, do we have chance for one more demo, do we think? Can we fit in one more before we leave them in peace?
Oh, go on then. We can have a little look, can't we?
A little look.
Another cheeky little demo.
Okay, so we'll include this one in the same competition.
Ooh.
So don't forget to let us know which your favourite flower is, and we will include that in the same piece.
Amanda, honestly.
What does Amanda say? Tell us all. Share it with the class, Peter.
Self-raising flower.
Honestly, Amanda, we need more than that. Give us a proper floral flower. What's the one? Is it daisies? I was trying to remember, and I'm going to have to just show how silly I am because I forget far too much in life. Is it daisies that you pick the one off for this and one off for that and go around in a circle?
I love you not.
Yeah.
That one.
Is it a daisy we do that with?
Daisy, yeah, that's
then daisies.
Gerber daisy.
Daisies would be my one. I can remember doing that as a child, so I'm going to go with a daisy. That's going to be my flower of the moment. Okay, so then, let's start off our next card, shall we? And we're going to start off by bringing in one of these beautiful stamps. Everything centres around these stamps, doesn't it? So let's find the one that I'm using and remember its rightful name because I forgot it again. How many times do I have to read it? Teacup Blooms. Honestly, I need to write these on my hand. If I had them on a little like thing on my hand, on my arm, I'd be all right, wouldn't I? So Teacup Blooms is what we're bringing in for you. I'm going to lay that on the stamp press and we're going to bring in a piece of white card once again to stamp it out with. And this time, I'm going to go for a really juicy ink. We're going to go for our VersaFine ink for this. And we're going to stamp this out. Beautiful image. Again, all in one, so nice and simple to do. Nice coating of ink. And then we're going to bring the two together. Christine reckons that somebody's just unlocked a memory of her nan. She forgot about snapdragons. Haven't seen one in years.
Yeah, you can press the sides and they open up like a mechanism. They open and shut, open and shut. Yeah,
I don't think I know of
They sometimes
these.
pop up as like a wildflower. They seed themselves sometimes.
I honestly don't think I know of these.
I shall show you when we go to Dad's when they're flowering.
Okay, I look forward to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to just cut off this piece because we don't need that bit. And we're going to concentrate on our main panel. So we're going to bring this in and we're going to place it onto a baking tray. Now, you don't have to do this at this stage. You can complete it all first and that will come clear in a second, or you can do it the way I'm going to do it. The choice is completely yours. But we're going to bring in some of our mica mists, if I can find which drawer I've hid them in. Let me just dig for a second. Here they are. Now I want the lovely purple one, so that is, of course, the lilac pearl. So our mica mists, these are the ones that we're using. These are the Jamie Rodgers Crafts ones. They have a little ball bearing in them. They're chock full of mica, and we're going to go in and we're going to activate that all up so that we've got a nice mica amount in there, nice ratio of colour and mica into the mix. And we're going to mist all the way over the top of this. Now, if you have never done this before with a stamped image, you have got to give this a go, because what's going to happen is the colour, the mica, will show up differently over the top of the stamped image. Also, when you tend to mist over a stamped image, the ink kind of raises up a little bit. And I was having this chat, a demo the other day. It kind of reminds me of when you have a tattoo done, and this isn't from confession of my own, I don't personally have any, I'm not that brave, but it kind of gives you that raised line. Apparently they settle down after you've had them a little while, but when you have them done to begin with, they kind of bump up, don't they? And this kind of gives me that feeling. What we're then going to do, we're going to take a piece of scrap paper, and we're just going to kind of screw it up into a bowl, and I'm doing that more so you can see it doesn't have to be precise, because all we're going to do with this is start moving that colour around a little. We don't want it to be too heavy, we just want to move it round. You can do this with a cloth if you prefer, but a piece of paper I find is usually what's laying to one side around my desk. So we're going to give that a good movement, good little squish about a little. Then I would normally colour my image in, and I would colour it in with whatever medium I want to be working with before I move on to die cutting from it. Because if I do a really nice flower, I might choose to pick the flower area. If the butterfly comes out looking better than I imagine, I might go for that area. But I would pick whichever part of this image is the best part of the image to me. But I've already got one cut for speed. This one's dry and it's ready to work with. And I'm going to give that a little wiggle so you can see under the light. Oh, let's see if we can get it. Bring it up a little bit closer for you. So you can see that mica on top of that stamped image and running throughout that design. And this really is to make it so we don't have a crisp white background. And it also just gives us a bit of colour and a bit of mica and a bit of shimmer running throughout the rest of it. So we're going to take this part and we're going to find a couple of little blending mats. And we're going to start off with this one. And we're going to bring back in our wild honey. And we're going to squidge a little bit of that out onto our mat. And then we're going to activate it. Activate the ink. I don't know why I turned into Prince Charles there. I was going more for like, kind of, I don't know, James Bond-esque. Ended up with Prince Charles. Not quite the aim where I was going. Where's all my water gone, Pete? Have you had it? Oh, I reckon that might be water. I think we're good. So we're going to mist this with some water to get that activated and turn that ink into a paint instead. And we're going to bring in a paintbrush and we're going to mix that up a little. And we're then going to start painting in our flower. Now, again, I'm not going to do a lot of this because you don't want to sit and watch me paint for the next 10 minutes. But we're just going to add some colour over the top. Now, while I'm doing this, I've used one of our canvas dies to cut out this panel. If you've not seen canvas dies before, I'm going to share a couple of them with you in a second. Because of today, literally today, I told you it's been a bonkers day here at HQ. Today, our canvas dies come back in stock. So all of the ones that sold out on Hobby Maker the week before last, I believe, somewhere along them lines, are now back in stock here at HQ. And if you had your canvas dies on extended dispatch, which I know quite a few of you may well have, they are already being posted out. They're already heading out the door. So keep an eye out for your notifications because they may well already be on the way to you. If you haven't already ordered them and you would like to, then of course keep an eye out on our stockists, because our stockists, once again as of today, have got the ability to reorder them in and get them back in stock. So they've only been told about this recently. So it might be a couple of days till they start ordering, till they find their way through to them. But keep an eye on them because I'm sure they will be once again restocking those canvas dies for you, because we know many of you have been waiting for them since they was on Hobby Maker with the launch of the Scrap Boys papers and sold out rather quickly. Now, Pete, while I'm adding a little bit more colour to this image, do you have any questions we can be answering, or are you all up to date?
No, all up to date, I believe.
Very good, very good.
Hopefully I won't get any naughty stars.
Oh, I don't know. I have a feeling that you are probably getting a couple.
I think that's guaranteed every time we're on.
We should have done a total of the week, but I didn't know we was going to be on
no,
3 times this week, or we possibly could have done that, couldn't we? A little ratio of how many times Pete gets in trouble throughout the week would have been a good way to indicate or predict the
You'd
year.
lose count.
I don't know. I feel you've been quite well behaved recently.
Oh, I'll take that.
In the grand scheme of things. So we're going to bring in some peacock feathers.
Sue says she loves her canvas dies.
They're good fun,
And
aren't they?
Emma loves them.
They're good fun. There's a lot of creativeness that we can do with them. And I know if Francoise is still with us, if I've not sent her to sleep, she is after me doing some bigger ones, some even bigger ones. And there's no plans for this, but there is kind of a wish that I'd like to. So maybe later in the year, maybe later down the line, maybe even next year. This year's starting to get quite full, isn't it, Pete? We're kind of already working on what we can do next year, because this year's already kind of a bursting point. So okay, around this we're just adding in more colour. You don't want to watch me do loads of this, but I would yo-yo for a few shades. Peacock feathers, pine needles, wild honey and seedless preserves are kind of my go-to for this panel, and then I would just keep adding them in to wherever I may need them to be, and then I would build up my canvas. So all we do to do that is fold along the lines that are already cut in there for us. So you can see on the reverse here, it's scored. We just fold it over, and you wouldn't normally do this once you've just painted it because it might still be a bit wet, but it's fine. But we fold over the tabs, we fold over the edges, and it's not a bad thing for you to cut first because it does save you using time, product painting in areas you're not going to see on that back flap. But I, as I say, would normally paint my completed panel before cutting it, just so I can see which area I want to favour. But fold this over, use a burnishing tool, don't just do it by hand like I am, because if it's not going to be as square as it could be. And then use your glue gun or your red liner tape or whatever it may be to start gluing this together. So just, oh, I was going to do it, but I appear to have lost my glue stick. Honestly, the Wobbly Wednesday continues. It's not the end of the world. Add some glue on, fold over that top flap, then bring over the side tabs, glue those in place and repeat the same at the bottom. It had a glue stick in it when I bought it in, Pete. It's gone somewhere. That will build up your tag.
Maybe it's gone with your little tag.
Now, honestly, it's just one of those days, isn't it? On the inside of this, I've built it up with some 3mm foam tape, and I've just, or 2mm, sorry, and I've put 3 levels together. So it ends up being 6mm high. So I can just pull those pieces off, and then I know that the middle of that canvas is nice and supported. Around the edges, I'm going to add some glue to it, just so we've got a little bit of body to it. And this, of course, is our Dries clear glue. I write PVA on the bottom of these ones, so I know that that's my Dries clear glue. And then on the other ones, I write dot on them because that's our dotty glue. So it keeps me on track for which glue is which and what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to bring that in and I'm going to add it down onto my panel. I'm going to give that a little squidge in the middle to make sure that that foam tape is just bonded nicely. And then we can go onto our card and start building this up. So again, card blank, let's move those out of the way for the second. Card blank, and then on for our colours. So we're going to match in that beautiful golden yellow in cardstock to which we've painted in our flowers with. And we're going to do that with some 1mm foam behind it. We're then going to go on to this beautiful teal. Again, one of our foundations cards. And we're going to put that onto the centre. And then we're going to build up on top of that with one of the pages from the paper pad. So I've put this onto white card already, just so you don't have to watch me glue every layer together. But you can spot that beautiful paper from a mile away, can't you? That's going to come to you in your paper pad. Then we're going to bring back in that beautiful, vibrant golden shade. And we're going to try and hold on to it for a start off. And we're going to place that just off to one side, not too far, but around there, I reckon. And then we can add on our canvas to the top of that. And then coming out from underneath this, we're just going to add in our happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, what am I like? Happy retirement, honestly. Now, where did I put my scissors? Here they are. So all we're going to do is trim off the edge of this one, just so we can get slightly tucked under. Check that we're happy with where that may be, which we are. And we're going to add some, oh, it's all going wrong. Come back. Going to add some glue onto this. Oh, I think my glue's running out. I need a little top up, I reckon. Worse than me ink pad. What's going on tonight? Cutbacks, rations. Okay, tuck that off to one side there. And then just remove them bits from the top. Just leaving that tab just so it hits the edge of the white card there. And that completes card number 2. Again, very nice, very simple, very easy. Nothing complicated. Letting the stamp do the heavy lifting for us. Matching in that lovely misted background with that beautiful paper so it all coordinates through. And this is what I was on about earlier. And I hadn't thought of this until this very second. But actually what we could have done in this background paper is taken our same mica mist and added a little bit of that over the top of that page because then that same shimmer that's coming through on our main panel would be located within that back panel, and it would all of course coordinate beautifully and actually make it look like we'd put loads of effort into making that back panel. Well, we haven't. We've just added on that same lilac pearl mica mist so it does coordinate beautifully. That would have been a really good idea. I wish I had thought of that earlier because it would have tied this panel and that panel together even more seamlessly. And that hopefully gives you a little bit of inspiration of what you could be creating with this brand new collection that Francoise will be bringing to you on Monday on Hobby Maker. Now, don't forget she's going to be with you at, let's get the right times, 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Monday. Now, the canvases I mentioned, just in case you don't know quite what they are, I often waffle about things and you might not have seen them all. There is lots of kind of products that we bring to you now, about 2,500 at Creative Expressions, something along those lines. These are just 4 of them. There is 11 different choices for you, different sizes, different designs, different shapes. These are the 4 that returned back in stock today that I'm aware of. So again, these are ones that will be heading out to our stockists now, and if you do have them on extended dispatch from Hobby Maker, they will be in parcels heading out the door to you. If they haven't gone today, I'm sure they'll be out the door tomorrow or the next day, I'm sure. They are actually early. I believe we told you that extended dispatch for these would be the 25th of March. Does that sound right, Pete?
23rd, I think.
23rd of March. So we did manage to pull a few strings and get them here even earlier than we thought we would manage to. So just to recap, just in case you have any questions about the products we've been looking at, this of course is the brand new stamp collection from Woodwear. There are 8 beautiful stamps in the collection. You cannot go wrong with any of them. They are all absolutely divine, and as you can see, work together beautifully. There is one more that I borrowed from my collection so that I could use it, and that of course is the floral envelopes. I'm just going to put this back into the packaging so you can see the design black against white as such, but there is that one as well within this collection. There is of course then your 2 dies, whether it is the tattered layers or of course the fragment die set. They're going to be a lot of fun to create and play with, aren't they? And then on top of that we have got your paper pad and your 2 stencils as well. So this one is your paper pad, your watercolor backgrounds paper pad, again giving you 24 pages, 6 designs, 4 sheets of each, and all of those tones that are absolutely stunning. And then your 2 stencils that round out this collection. So 2 stencils, 1 paper pad, 2 dies, and 8 stamps create the complete floral stationery set by Francoise Reed for this release. Now, if there are no more questions this evening, we will pick our winner and we will leave you in peace for tonight, because we are back again tomorrow at 7 p.m. when we will be looking at the brand new Scrap Boys papers and giving you some inspiration on what you could be creating with both of these collections, whether it be the Lady in Japan or, of course, the Shabby Pack 2. And these will not only be on our live tomorrow night at 7 p.m, they're now going to be featuring on our Hobby Maker shows on Sunday as well. Because on Sunday, we're going to be on Hobby Maker at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. for a couple of bonus shows that even I didn't know about, or we didn't know about, or anybody knew about until about 10 to 7 this evening, 5 to 7 even. So yeah, they're going to be on that show. But tomorrow night, 7 p.m, we're going to take you through those. We'll bring you some inspiration with them and hopefully give you another little cheeky reminder of the Woodwear bundle as well, and remind you of the times for that one at the same time. Do we have winners or winner, Peter? Winner, I've gone French again.
French again,
Oui, winner.
We do. We do indeed.
Are you ready to come over to you?
I think so.
We're pushing the button.
I want to press a different button, but going to be good. Going to be good. Thank you all for joining us again tonight. And thank you for all your interesting and nice stories and flowers and bits. So anyway, without further ado, as the boss would say, tonight's winner is... Congratulations to Catherine Gordon. Chose geraniums. Love geraniums.
Did you give a reason?
No. Did you give a reason?
That's allowed.
She might not have done. Maybe Peter gets a bad start. She might have done.
I don't know.
Anything's possible tonight. But yeah, congratulations, Catherine. If you want to drop us an email to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com and let us know if you want your cards signed, we'll get them popped in post for you. But thank you all for joining us and for your comments. And we'll see you tomorrow evening. Might be another giveaway. So maybe I'll be let loose with another button. What do we reckon? Shall I press another button?
No, let's not press another one. No, let's take him off. The power goes to his head, honestly. Then 3 seconds and that's it. He already thinks he can be pushing buttons he's not meant to be pushing. This is what I have to put up with. Kim says that one of the stamps was missing, and I agree, Kim, there was one missing. So I'm going to show them to you in this format because this actually gives you what they look like stamped out as well. Aren't they absolutely beautiful? I should have shown you them in this format earlier. I'm going to be honest with you, my desk is in absolute chaos now. There is bits and pieces everywhere. It doesn't take a lot to derail me. And this evening there is bits everywhere. So this format is actually probably a much neater way to share them with you. These are of course your dies from that release as well, or this release. And of course these are your stencils, and that is your paper pad. And 10 out of 10 to Kim for paying attention to the point of noticing that one of the stamps was missing. That it deserves a little round of applause on its own. Oh, he's reaching for his button. Watch out, world. We might have another button. He's dying to push them buttons this evening.
Catherine did reply. She just replied. Thank you, Catherine. She said her dad grew them.
Oh, very sweet.
It's nice.
Very,
lovely.
very sweet. Do we all agree that the button needs to be taken away from Peter and be at this end of the room for tomorrow night? I think it might be wise to remove it. Keep it up here. He's getting a bit trigger happy with them mere buttons, isn't he? A little bit naughty.
There's 16 options and you only ever hear 2 of them.
That is for the best. I know what some of the others are. We'll stick to the 2. Might do better if it's up here with me in safe hands. Now, I just want to say thank you, of course, to Francoise for the incredible collection. Her designs and attention to detail has been an absolute joy to be able to share with you this evening, and to be able to work with such an incredibly talented lady on creating such amazing products is nothing short of a joy for us here at Creative Expressions. And to be able to bring you her products is genuinely a dream come true. So thank you very, very much to Francoise for all your hard work in creating these amazing products and for allowing us to bring them to you through Creative Expressions, and of course to be able to bring them to you at Hobby Maker and for our stockists too. And then on a similar vein, I would like to also say a huge thank you to our DT, not only the members who have made samples for us this evening, but all of our DT, because they work so hard to make sure that we have endless inspiration to be able to share with you all. And it just makes our job an absolute joy, not only because it means that they've done lots of the heavy lifting and brought all of these creations for us to you, but it also opens up all of those ideas that we would never even think of and allows them to share them with you too. Because we all have our lane, don't we, at times? And actually, when we go through all of these and see what they've created, they're just mind-bogglingly brilliant. So a big round of applause to all of them, but especially this evening to Laura, Siobhan and Christine for their incredible creations. So thank you all, but thank you, Free, for your Woodwear work this time round as well. Thank you all very much for watching this evening. We're going to leave you in peace. We'll see you again tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. when we are chatting Scrap Boys. Don't forget to tune in to see Francoise on Monday. She will be with you on Hobby Maker at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. And if we don't catch you tomorrow night, please don't forget to join me on Hobby Maker on Sunday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. From myself, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
And good evening from me. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to keep the box, by the way. I'm hiding it from him. Good night.
Night.
Good
Bye
night.
for now.
Bye-bye.